Good evening. This is Melvina Carpenter with Melvina Carpenter's Books, and I have been asked by a member of Cainhoy Elementary School, my childhood school, to read one of my children's books. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. The book that I'll be reading on today has been written by me, and it's called Don't Tease the Dog. Don't Tease the Dog. It is a true story. So let's read. There's the first picture. Amanda was walking home from school. At the age of 10, she was so afraid of walking through her yard. Her parents had a dog named Rambo. He was a big dog. He had black and white hair and beach blue eyes that sparkled at night. Amanda didn't like Rambo because he barked a lot. He barked more than most dogs. His barking scared her. What was even scarier was when her parents told her that he was half wolf. She shook in her boots at the thought. A half wolf? She constantly repeated in her head. He was actually an Alaskan Husky. That term didn't make it any better for Amanda. In her mind, the half was taken away and all she heard was, "Wolf!" Amanda was terrified of Rambo. When she finally reached her yard from the bus stop, Rambo stood on his four legs and growled. He was tied, but Amanda took off running into the house anyway. She told her mom that Rambo growled at her. Her mom replied with, "If you don't bother Rambo, then Rambo won't bother you." Amanda hadn't bothered anyone. Amanda hadn't bothered Rambo, though. He had just bothered her. Amanda knew that Rambo was tied in his doghouse, but he frightened her anyway. Amanda was angry with Rambo. Every day, he made her feel afraid. She leaned her elbow on the kitchen counter while tapping her finger on her head. She was in deep thought. She was determined to get back at him for scaring her. Her mom was in the kitchen along with her while frying some hot, juicy chicken. Amanda's mind wandered. What can I do to get back at him? She pondered. Just then, she decided that she was going to steal a piece of chicken, go outside, and tease Rambo with it. After all, he was tied. There was absolutely nothing for her to be afraid of. She was going to get him back once and for all. Her mother was talking on the telephone with their neighbor Jenny, so Amanda used that distraction to bother the dog. She stole a chicken leg from her mother's table and dashed outside to Rambo's doghouse. He was in his doghouse asleep. She stood on the porch watching him. She had to press her hand against her chest because her heart was beating so fast. She was so nervous but so determined at the same time. She went near his doghouse and said, "Here, Rambo. Here, boy. I bet you can't catch me. You want this piece of chicken, don't you?" It tastes so good," she sung the words to him. When she put the chicken leg to her mouth to bite into it, confident that Rambo was tied, she tasted the seasoning. All of a sudden, Rambo came charging after her. He wasn't tied after all. She dropped the chicken leg and ran as fast as she could towards the front porch. She was shaking so bad she felt like her legs would break. It seemed like she wasn't even moving. Why haven't I reached the porch yet? She thought. Oh my God, Mama, help! She sung and screamed at the same time. Amanda made a big mistake. She looked back. Everyone knows not to look back when you're being chased. It slows you down. Just as she did, Rambo jumped on top of her. She was screaming to the top of her lungs. She rolled over because during the scream, she tasted dirt and grass. Ew! When she rolled over, Rambo pinned her down again and began licking her. He licked her eyes, her nose, and her ears. He even licked her mouth. Yuck! Rambo was only playing with Amanda, but she didn't know that. Amanda was crying hysterically at this point. She was so afraid that she wet her pants. Yes, 10-year-old Amanda peed on herself. Her mother heard her yelling and came rushing outside to see what was going on. When Rambo saw Amanda's mother, he ran the other way. He probably ran because she had the broomstick in her hands. Once Amanda calmed down, her mother questioned her about why she was outside in the first place. She should have been inside doing her chores and homework assignments. She also asked what happened with her and Rambo. Amanda told her mother the entire story. Her mother laughed until tears ran down her cheeks. She reminded her daughter to be obedient. She'd already told her not to bother Rambo, but Amanda did anyway. Rambo jumping on her was the result of her willfully not listening to her parents. Amanda's mom shared with her the importance of listening and following instructions for the 100th time, it seemed. Then she hugged Amanda and rocked her from side to side, while saying, "Don't tease the dog, baby. Don't tease the dog." The end. I hope that you enjoyed my reading on today of Don't Tease the Dog. This book and all of my books are available on Amazon.com/author/Melvina Carpenter. Thank you and have a good day.